So once again, take a moment, one and all, to receive more of this healing and expansive energy. And breathe, and breathe. And as you breathe in this way, we would work with you in the following way. Due to the individual and collective opening you have experienced, you are allowing God to write its story on your soul that it might be made manifest. And God's story can now supersede, overshadow, and negate your history. So we would speak to you tonight and facilitate the process of allowing God's story to mitigate your history. Just breathe. And we would offer you a visual image as a representation of what we are doing with you energetically at this time. Just breathe. And imagine that within you there lies a safe or a locker. And within this safe or this locker is your history, some of which you dread and some of which you cherish, some of which brings shame and some of which brings pride, most of which limits you and limits God's expression through you. So imagine this safe is within you. And just breathe. And as you breathe, imagine the hands of God, the hands of light, moving into your heart center, as if these hands are turning the combination of a master lock or turning a key in a lock or turning the combination of a safe. Just breathe and feel this ray of light as represented by the hands of light, just opening your heart. Just breathe. And as these hands of light open your heart in this way, just surrender to this, knowing it is for your good. Just breathe. And as you feel this ray of light expanding your heart, and as you sense the hands of light undoing the lock to the safe which holds the energy of your past, just breathe. Just breathe and surrender to this process. Just breathe. Just breathe. And as you breathe and as your heart opens in awareness, surrender, receptivity, and gratitude, you just breathe and let go. Just breathe. Just breathe. Good. Now feel the hands of light unlocking the lock, clicking the safe to the point where it is ready to be opened, opening the safe or the locker where the energies of your past exist. Just breathe. And now imagine the hands of light going into the safe, the locker, the recess of your energy, of your past, and lifting out that which brings you shame, that which has brought you shame or triggered shame within you. Whatever it is, whatever it was, your shame stories. Imagine the hands of light reaching deep within your energy and lifting out the shame story. As the hands of light hold what you have held in shame, feel the loving grace surrounding, healing, and transforming what you have held in shame. And breathe and feel the energy of the hands of light, caressing what you have held in shame, teaching it. You are forgiven, yet there is nothing to forgive. You are forgiven, yet there is nothing to forgive. And feel the hands of light, just embracing in love what you have held in shame. Just breathe. Just breathe. As you breathe, imagine the hands of light transforming what you have held in shame into a beautiful white dove of peace, holding the white dove of peace in the hands of light, where shame used to be. Just breathe. Just breathe. And now imagine this shame that is now the dove of peace being released from the hands of light and flying into the sun symbolizing flying into the core, the essence of God, to be a part of all God is. See the dove of peace flying into the sun, and breathe. And breathe and experience the healing that this offers. Just breathe and experience the healing that this offers. Just breathe and experience the healing that this offers. Just breathe. And give thanks Thank you, God, for transforming the remnants of shame that have caused me pain. Thank you, God, for transforming the remnants of shame that have caused me pain. Thank you, God, for transforming the remnants of shame that have caused me pain. Thank you, God, for transforming the remnants of pain that have caused me shame. Just breathe this in. And imagine the hands of light once again going into that locker, that safe, where the hurt has hidden. And finding regrets, the roads not taken, the choices not made. And imagine the hands of light just holding your regrets. The hands of light now lift from the locker of hurt, from the safe of hurt, your regrets, and you willingly allow them to be lifted from you. I release all regret to the hands of light of God. I release all regret to the hands of light of God. I release all regret to the hands of light of God. I release all regret to the hands of light of God. And breathe, remembering that you don't have to do anything. Just open to the light of God, and God will do the rest. And see and sense and feel any regret that you have held being lifted from you by the hands of light of God. Willingly release this regret. Willingly release this regret. Willingly release this regret and sense and feel the hands of light of God lifting it from you. And breathe. And as you breathe, you know the hands of light of God that hold this regret now transforms it into a beautiful white dove. Regret is now a beautiful white dove that is released by the hands of light of God to fly toward the sun, symbolizing the heart of God. And you breathe, feeling cleansed, and you breathe, feeling healed. And you know that without shame and regret regarding the past, you need not judge or criticize yourself, and you need not withhold from yourself. So the hands of light of God lift from you now any tendency or willingness to judge yourself, criticize yourself, or withhold from yourself. And you work with the thought form, I surrender to you, God, any will, conscious or unconscious, to judge myself, criticize myself, withhold from myself, or punish myself due to guilt, shame, or regret. Guilt, shame, and regret exist within me no more. So there is no reason to judge myself, to criticize myself, to withhold from myself, or to punish myself. Guilt, shame, and regret exist within me no more. So there is no reason to criticize myself, judge myself, withhold from myself, or punish myself. I surrender any will, conscious or unconscious, to judge myself, criticize myself, withhold from myself, or punish myself. And now you sense a different energy, the energy of a metal shovel, shoveling coal from a coal cellar. The idea of a coal cellar is buried in your consciousness. You see the coal chute above the ground in the basement. You see the coal furnace in the room, the basement. And you see the shovel that shovels the coal in the furnace. And the hands of light take all of this and shovel it into the furnace for its transformation. You sense and see and feel this happening now. You may even smell the smell of the coal burning, as this is indicative of the transformation that is happening, as you hear the scraping of the metal shovel and you feel the weight of the coal in the shovel. And as you hear the clattering of the coal, and as you hear the roar of the furnace, and as you feel the heat of the furnace, the hands of light take all of this and shovel it into the furnace for transformation, transmutation, healing, and dissolution. All of this is now shoveled into the furnace. All the debris and dust, the coal dust, is vacuumed from the space. And you allow this transformation to occur so that all will, conscious or unconscious, known or unknown, all will, to judge yourself, criticize yourself, withhold from yourself, or punish yourself. All will is dissolved. And you breathe. And you breathe. And you breathe. As you breathe, you feel this transformation, and you work with the thought form, I am cleansed, I am healed, I am purified by the hands of light of God. I am cleansed, I am healed, I am purified by the hands of light of God. I am cleansed, I am healed, I am purified by the hands of light of God. I am cleansed, I am healed, I am purified by the hands of light of God. And you breathe this in. And as you breathe this in, you look back into the safe or into the locker, and you see only gold coins, crystal jewels, where this has replaced guilt, shame, self-judgment, self-criticism, self-withholding, and self-punishment. You look back into the locker and you see only gold coins and jewels, crystalline jewels and gold coins, your inner treasure, 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 your inner treasure. And this is the currency you use to draw to you God's vision for your life. You now have the power and the ability to draw to you only the joyful reflections of your inner treasure. You now have the power and the ability to draw to you only an outer reflection of your inner treasure. You now have only the ability to draw to you the outer reflection of your inner treasure. You now have the ability and the power to only draw to you the outer reflection of your inner treasure. And you breathe this in. And you breathe this in. And you breathe this in, and you can't help but to expand in your experience of joy in this moment. And you breathe this in as you open to the joy of God, the pleasure of God, the treasure of God that you are. For as God's treasure, you must allow pleasure. As God's treasure, you must allow pleasure. As God's treasure, you must allow pleasure. And you breathe this in. You breathe this in. Yeah. And you marinate in the energy of yourself as God's treasure. And you allow yourself to attract all forms of God's pleasure. We would then open this session to any questions you might have when you are ready.